Hey guys, and welcome to our next math video. Oh my goodness gracious, you guys, I have missed you so much and I'm so happy to be back. Guys, boys and girls and learning coaches alike, thank you so much for the last 4 weeks for bearing with me with emails and doing so great with Miss Jones as she was covering my classes. You guys, I really appreciated it, and it really made my time off a lot sweeter to know that you guys were just being so easygoing and that Miss Jones was taking care of you. So thank you so much. And I'm happy though to get back to it and to be with you again. So, all right, boys and girls, you know the drill. First we have our number riddle, okay? So here's our number riddle today. Let's read those clues together. Then I want you to push pause on the video, try to figure it out, then push play, and we'll figure it out together, okay? All right. The first one says, I am one of these numbers. 27, 72, 39, 93. Huh, well, that's handy, isn't it? Knowing that it's one of those numbers. All right, let's see our next clue. I am more than 41. More than 41. Okay, now let's read our last clue. I am less than 90. Oh my goodness. Okay, there's our clues. So I want you to go ahead and push pause on this video and then push play after you figured it out, okay? Go. Okay, now that you've pushed play on your video, let's figure out what our number is, okay? All right, here we go. So I am one of these numbers. Well, we don't really have to do anything for that one, do we? We've already read those numbers. We know what they are. Let's check out the next clue. I am more than 41. More than 41. So bigger than 41. So let's look at our numbers and see which one is bigger than 41, because we know it's one of those. Is 27 bigger than 41? No. So we're going to mark that out because we know it's not that one. Is 72 more than 41? Yep, so we'll leave that one. It could be it. Is 39 more than 41? No. Let's mark it out. Now let's check our last one. Is 93 more than 41? Sure is. Okay, so we're going to leave that one too, okay? All right, now let's check out our last clue, see if we can figure out what this number is. I am less than 90. Less than 90. Well, let's check out our two that are left. Is 72 less than 90? Yep, sure is. So let's leave that one. Is 93 less than 90? Nope, it's more than 90, isn't it? Let's mark that one out. Oh my goodness, guys. Do we have a number that's left? We do. We only have one number left. 72. Well, 72 is one of these numbers, right? So we know it fits the first clue. 72 is more than 41, and 72 is less than 90. Guys, nice job, nice job. 72 is the answer to our number riddle. Okay, guys, now we're going to start on our lesson. I have a blank page here, and I'm just going to hold up our I can sentence of the day. So, guys, last week you did something a little bit different. You've been doing something a little bit different for a few weeks, haven't you? Or not last week because we didn't have class, but the week before. You learned about measurement, and you just had pages to work on. You just had pages to look at, and you and your learning coach reviewed them, right? So this week we are going to be practicing what you did on those pages, okay? And guys, if you hear some background noise, they are almost finished with our addition over here, but they're putting the roof on right now. They're putting the metal on our roof, and it's pretty loud, so sorry about that. Now, so our I can sentence says, I can compare two objects by an attribute of measurement. So an attribute means maybe something that they've got in common or something that describes them. An attribute is something that describes something. So I can compare two objects by an attribute of measurement. Now, in order to see what those attributes are, let's check out our SOL. So here's our standard of learning, just what the state tells us we need to learn about. So I am not going to read all of this because learning coaches, I know that this is a lot, and I know that you got it last week, or week before last, excuse me. So it states that the student will compare two objects or events using direct comparisons of non-standard units of measure according to one or more of the following attributes. And it talks about length, height, weight, temperature, all kinds of things to describe the object, right? Yeah. So boys and girls, I told you that today we were going to practice measuring two objects, right, by an attribute or comparing them to an attribute. The first attribute that we're going to talk about is temperature. Temperature is how hot or cold something is, right? Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get you to go on a scavenger hunt around your house. I'm going to show you an object and tell you what we're going to compare it to, what attribute of measurement we're looking for. So let me give you an example. The first one I told you we were going to do is temperature. Guys, I have my hot cup of tea right here. Let me take my lid off. Maybe I left it on there to try to keep it hot while I was doing the rest of our video. Oh my goodness, do you see that? Did you see that steam come off? Look at that steam. That steam tells you that my drink, my tea, is hot. Hot. So what I want you to do, let me put it over here against my black shirt. You can see it a little better. What I want you to do right now is to push pause on this video and go find something that is colder than this cup of tea. Go find something that is colder than this cup of tea, okay? So after you found it, then push play, and you don't have to bring it over here. Just go point to something or just go touch it or something like that. So after you found it, just push play on the video again, and I'll tell you what you're going to look for next. Okay, go. Okay, now that you found your object that was colder than my tea, set it over here. The next thing I want you to do is find something we're going to talk about, find something that we are going to talk about length with. So now I want you to find something that is longer than my shoe. Find something that is longer than my shoe. Okay, so we've done temperature. Now we're doing length. So you're going to find something that is longer than my shoe. All right, and push pause and go. Okay, now that you've pushed play and you found something longer than my shoe, now let's see what you have next. And I'm setting my shoe down here. I'm not putting it back up on I'm not putting it on my table. Next, we're going to talk about weight. Weight is how heavy or light something is. So if you go to the doctor's office, sometimes you step up on a scale, don't you? And they say, oh, you've grown so much. You weigh so much. You weigh X number of pounds. So right here, I have a pair of socks. This is a pair of Rafe's socks, and they're pretty light. It doesn't take much to pick them up. I want you to go find something heavier or something that weighs more than Rafe's socks. Okay, go find something heavier. You mark, get set, go. Okay, now that you push play on your video and you found something heavier than Rafe's socks, we have one more attribute or one more descriptive thing that we are looking for. Are you ready? Now we're going to talk about height. Height is how tall or short something is, okay? So now I have got my toothbrush. So I've got my toothbrush right here. If I set it up on the table, you won't quite be able to see it all. I want you to find something taller than my toothbrush. See if you can find something taller than my toothbrush. And push pause on this video. On your mark, get set, go! Okay, now that you've pushed play and found something taller than my toothbrush, you are done with comparing attributes today. So you compared 4 different attributes. You compared temperature, length, weight, and height. How cool are you? All right, guys, now we have one more thing that I want to talk about really quick, okay? Now, last week or week before last, when you and your learning coach learned about measurement, you learned about standard and non-standard units. So in kindergarten, we use non-standard units. Learning coaches, I will tell you that obviously from that SOL, that it is not super in-depth. The SOL used to talk about that students would measure in inches and would use a non-standard unit of measure to measure things. That's not the case this year. They have taken that away, removed it from the SOL, but I still feel like that it is really something that these kindergartners, they can accomplish. It's something that they can be pushed to do, so I am still going to do it. Even though it's not quite in the standard, we are still going to actually measure items, okay, boys and girls? So that's what we're going to do now, okay? Or I'm going to show you how to measure one thing, and then you're going to measure some things at your house, okay? And I know you already measured some stuff last week too on that PowerPoint, right? Okay. All right, guys, so when you measure something, you always start, let's go with my shoe. When you measure something, you need to start at one end or another. You never start in the middle, because if you started right here, let's move all my fingers here. If you started right here, you would only get the length from here to here. You have to start at one end or another so that you can get the whole thing, okay? Think about at a doctor's office. If they are getting your height, so let's turn my shoe to see how high it is. If they're getting your height, they have you stand up, don't they? And they say, stand up nice and tall, stand up super straight. And then they take that little bar and they put it down on top of your head, don't they? Yeah. So they're measuring you from your feet all the way down to the bottom of your feet, all the way up to the tippy top of your head. All the way from your feet to the tippy top of your head, okay? So think about that you've got to make sure that you get every part when you're measuring it, when you're measuring something, whatever it is. Now, I'm going to use my snap cubes. Guys, I've got a dish towel here that I'm going to lay my shoe on so it can still stay on the table, because I don't want you to think I'm sitting my shoe on my kitchen table. Now, I'm going to be measuring with, you guys know that it's easier for you to see the Legos here on the screen, so I use Legos instead of my snap cubes. But I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 snap cubes. And I just put them in a row just because it's kind of easier to have them all in a row when you're measuring something, okay? Now, just like you start at one end of your object, you're going to start at one end of your measuring tool, your non-standard unit of measurement as well. Now, you can use any kind of non-standard unit of measurement that you would like. You can use blocks, you could use your hand, you could use a pencil or a crayon, anything. You all know we learned about that, or you learned about it with your learning coach a couple weeks ago. So I'm just using the blocks for right now. So I'm going to do, and I'm looking on the screen here to make sure I've got it lined up. I'm going to line it up with one end of my shoe, okay? Now, what I'm going to do, this is a little hard because you can't quite see it. Let me see if I can turn this screen down so you can see my table. That might be a little bit easier. All right, now, I've got one end here on my shoe. See that? All right, now I'm going to count and see how many I've got so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, does that get me to the end of my shoe? Sure doesn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my finger right where it stops, right about here. Now, that's kind of like my new end, because that's where I need to start measuring now. So I've already got 6, so I'm going to move it over here just like this. Now, I already had 6, right? So I'm going to keep 6 in my head. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, am I at the end yet? Can you see? Still got a little bit left over here. So I've got 12. Now I'm going to put my finger, same as I did. I'll turn it a little bit here for you. All right, now we got to go to the end. The end, let's see if you can see it. Sorry guys, this is a little bit trickier measuring this shoe than I thought it would be. So I had 12. Now we've got 13, 14. See how 14 lines up with the end right here, the end of that yellow one? Okay, so that tells me, let's move this back up a little bit. That tells me that my shoe is 14 Legos long, or 14 snap cubes, or 14 Unifix cubes, whatever you call them. 14 long. Oh my goodness gracious. Now, if I was measuring with something else, like my hand, it wouldn't be 14, would it? Not quite, because my hand is bigger. So, what you're going to do after this video is your learning coach is going to get an email with a page on it called Measure the Room, or Measure the House. And it's got some objects on it that I want you to go around your house and I want you to measure. Now, you can use, this is why I said you can use any kind of non-standard unit of measurement that you would like. You can use some Unifix cubes, or some snap cubes. I'm used to calling them Unifix cubes or Legos. You can use your hand, you can use a pencil, you could even use a shoe to measure with. Wouldn't that be cool? Now, that activity, guys, that's completely optional. You do not have to send it to me, but it's just that extra practice for you if you want it, okay? All right, and I'm also going to be sending you your next subitizing sheet or two. Boys and girls, I was going to use some spring ones this time, but then I thought, you know what? At my house, they are calling for snow this week. More snow. Oh my goodness gracious. In the middle of March. Are they calling for snow at your house? Well, since they're calling for snow, I know in a lot of places, I said, well, I'm just going to stay with the winter ones. We're not going to break out the flowers yet. So when they stop calling for snow, whoop, you hear Mr. Tripp, don't you? When they stop calling for snow, then we'll break out those spring subitizing sheets, okay? All right, guys, take care. I hope you have a great week, and I'm so glad to be back. Bye now.